Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually have a thought piece that we just dropped this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing for your listening leisure, and we've provided you with a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you're aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is mental wellness. And on the topic of mental wellness, I want to talk about the weight that we put on the words that other people have when it relates to us. So the weight we put on the opinions of others that inform our sense of self. So I think this is an important conversation because a lot of us, our mental wellness is put to the test when it comes to rumors, when it comes to gossip, when it comes to smears and downright lies that people would love to believe about us. And because they would love to believe it, it makes us feel a little insecure. It makes us feel a little betrayed. It can make us feel a little affronted by the fact that there's all these people who have all these issues or would like to have all these issues with us. And so having had dealt with that, I am someone who really believes that my opinion of myself supersedes all. So my personal sense of opinion, built on my experience, built on the time that I spend with myself, will supersede any opinion, external opinion of someone who has spent very little to no time with me. And also I recognize that while it can be an affront, it can be very shocking to have friends or to be in the know with someone, have an acquaintance that you think you're getting along with, that you like, well enough, like maybe you're not friends by any means, but you've given them no reason to dislike you. And you find that they're there really to try to tear you down, rip down your character, and try to really malign like who you are by saying things that are completely untrue to you. Like in that moment, it is shocking, but I think that like how you bounce back from that is just reminding yourself like who you know you are. Sometimes the spiral can be us trying to control the effects of lies, the effects of gossip, the effects of rumors, but we can't control the effects of those. Like we can't control if people do decide to believe them or not. We can't control control the amount of energy someone decides to put into trying to make their lie true, but we can control how we respond to those situations. And that's where the power lies. The power lies in your response. And so I've learned to be stoic in the face of these kinds of situations because the truth always comes out. And regardless of how desperate people are to have people see you in a certain light, in a certain lens, I think that at some point in time, if people are really seeking to find the truth, they're going to find it. They're going to see through the mirage, through the lies, through the gossip. So don't worry about it. And I've learned just to not worry about it. But when I say not worry about it, it doesn't mean let the rumors go aflame. It doesn't mean let the rumors fly ablaze. Not worrying about it means like I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to spend too much of my time being hurt or feeling like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this happened to me. I've recognized that this thing happens to people all the time. If it's happening to me, then I'm going to go into damage control. So I'm going to do what I can to ensure that my point of view, my perspective is heard. And I'm going to make sure that I do it the right way. I'm going to go through the appropriate channels so that when it is the case that I feel inclined to speak up and speak my truth, I am protecting that truth by any means necessary, especially if I recognize that people are putting a lot of energy, a lot of resources into trying to cement a lie about me that puts themselves on the line. And a lot of people who go out of their way to lie about you is because they think that there's something to gain out of it. A lot of the people who I have experienced lies from, like there was something personally to gain from those lies. There was something that they personally would have gained by maligning my character or by lying about how things went or about changing the narrative completely to suit them. Like there was something that they were going to benefit out of making those lies up. So what I like to do is stay stoic so that they don't get that benefit. I want to stay stoic so I don't get rattled by the fact that these lies are taking place, and I have been rattled in the past. So this is like life experience learning that I'm hoping to give to you so that you can just jump into the best way of dealing with these kinds of individuals as it relates to your mental wellness. And I think that anyone who is trying to bank on a lie is building a house on sand, right? Like lies are not the kinds of thing you build foundations on. Like you can't build a career on a lie. You can't build life on a lie. You can't build respect on a lie. You can't build regard on a lie. The things that we want really badly, if we want to be esteemed, we want to be seen as the hero, like those are not aspects or elements that you're going to gain and keep when they're built on lies. And so because I know who I am, because I live in my authenticity, I live in pure alignment, when it is the case, and it has been many of the cases, unfortunately for me, that I am confronted with lies, the first thing that I do is like allow myself an opportunity to recalibrate. So to recalibrate, to get a sense as to the damage, and then to see, well, what should I do in response to this lie? And a lot of the times what I like to do is I like to let people hang themselves on their own lies. So I want them to get confident, get comfortable, build their lie up to such an extent that anyone who's really looking for the truth, they can recognize, like as they look at me, as they observe me, as they watch me, that there's just too many degrees of separation between the person that has been painted as me, who is not me at all, and the way that I actually show up. So I like to let that person tie the noose around their own neck when it comes to their lies so that I'm not having to really be the vocal piece trying to convince people of my truth. And that's the one thing that I will recommend that no one do. You cannot convince people to believe something that they don't want to believe. And there's a lot of people who want to believe bad things about you. And it's like a sucky truth, but it's true. But they're going to cling to anything and everything to justify however it is they feel about you by how you trigger them. And anyone who I have come across who desperately needed to believe bad things about me, it was because of their own inner demons, the things that they were struggling themselves. And that's not something I'm going to put on my shoulders. I'm not going to put on the emotional weight of someone else's issues on my shoulders that is going to be the cause for them to lean into lies and into rumors and into gossip that have nothing to do with me and who I am. But what I am going to do is for the people who are really seeking the truth, I'm not going to make it complicated for them to find it. I'm going to be very upfront, very direct, very outspoken about what took place, about what actually is the case, about who I am and who I'm not. I'm not going to be silent about it. I'm not going to, turn the other cheek and allow myself to get beaten into the ground and to get buried essentially by lies. I'm gonna be vocal, but I'm going to do it the right way, because while I refuse to take it personally anymore, I've realized that people and their behavior has a lot to do with them, their growth journey or their lack of growth journey, their principles or their lack of principles, their values or their lack of values, than it had ever had anything to do with me. And because of that, I can be very indifferent in the face of lies when they're coming from people who I don't personally respect, that I don't personally know, and who are just really pawns in whomever's game is being played. So a lot of people can be bought, a lot of people can buy into a lie because it's the fun thing to do at that moment, or a lot of people buy into the lie because there's a benefit in buying into that lie as well. But all of those people, like, their day is coming, right? And that is without very much effort from me, because the truth is something that is powerful. And because I believe in the power of the truth, I believe I just need to speak my truth. I don't need to convince you. I don't need to sway you of what took place or who I am. I just need to make sure that I'm living in my authenticity, that my behavior aligns with what I believe in, with my principles, with my values, and the truth itself will come out. And so I want to have this conversation because a lot of people, I feel their mental wellness is being shaken because they're trying to combat lies, combat rumors, combat gossip that's being spoken about them. And I say that from experience, like, these are things that you can't fight. These are fires that kind of burn out and peter out on their own, but they're also the kinds of situations where the people who are spinning the lies, spinning the gossip, spinning the rumors, they're the ones who now have to deal with making sure that those things are true. They have to put in the work, put in the resources, put in the energy, which will be a full-time job if you're living in your authenticity, if you're living in your truth. Someone going out of their way to try to make their lie the truth is going to have to at some point recognize that they've been caught. They've been caught in their lie, because anyone who's seeking the truth and who sees you living in your authenticity, aligning your behaviors with your beliefs, with your principles, with your values, is going to recognize, well, there's something that's not true that's taking place here. And then what ends up happening is they're the ones that are now being seen for who they truly are, right? And anyone who goes out of the way to try to malign someone else, to try to tear down their character, to try to damage someone's reputation for no reason, I mean, they get what they get at the end of the day, right? Like, you reap what you sow in this lifetime. I believe that fundamentally. And anyone who goes out of their way to destroy someone because of their own jealousy, because of their own envy, because of their own poor choices that now they're trying to cover up, and as a result of that, they've spun lies and they've tried to make you out to be this villain, their behavior shows who the villain is in that situation, right? The more you try to villainize someone who is absolutely innocent, who has not done the things that you have charged them with, and people are now looking and they're, turning over the rocks and they're digging for the truth, and they see that there's absolutely no truth, there's no substance to what's being spoken, that is going to be its own consequence, right? That's going to be its own punishment. And though it's not enough, though I think you need to hold people accountable the appropriate way, like you need to hold people accountable for their bad behavior, you cannot change the way people are going to perceive you when they recognize that you're a liar, right? You can't change the way people are going to perceive you when they recognize that you're not just a liar, but you're the kind of liar who would go out of your way to try to malign and destroy someone because they're not living up to the lies that you've spun, right? And just think about that for a moment. Like, if you're going out of your way, you're spending money, you're spending resources, you're putting so much energy behind trying to destroy someone who refuses, who doesn't fit in the box you put them in, who doesn't fit the narrative that you spun to so many people that this is who this person is, and now they're looking and they're like, well, that's not who I see. It's because that's never who I was, right? That's never who you are, whoever you are watching this. So I think that time always tells all lies, right? Time and truth tells all lies. And don't sit quietly. I think mind your P's and Q's, dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure that you're living in alignment with your principles, with your values, with your integrity. And when the time is right, you speak your truth. You give people what actually took place so that they can bring things full circle, and also help in contributing and doling up the consequences and the punishment that is required for going out of your way to try to destroy someone who is just living their best life, or who is going through a situation seeking support, or you saw someone who was vulnerable, and rather than try to be supportive, you decided to be predatory, right? And a lot of people who are out there trying to destroy people because they don't like them, like, they're predatory people. These are just people who are very broken, very hurt, and it's never going to be an excuse. And they are actually sabotaging, harming, hurting themselves in every effort that they make to hurt you. Every rock they throw will fall back in their own head. We reap what we sow in this life and in the next one as well. So in any case, that's what I wanted to come here and talk about. Some food for thought for you. Always hold people accountable. Always speak your truth. Never allow yourself to be shaken by the things that are said about you, especially when you know that they're not true. Don't allow yourself to go to tears about things spoken that you know are not true. The fact that it's not true means you check it off, approach it with calculation calculated precision, with calculated strategic precision, no emotions whatsoever. If I'm speaking to someone who cares for me and who tells me something that I need to work on, I can express emotion and I can allow myself to be emotionally invested in that opinion. But if you're saying something that's just so far left and so far removed from who I am, then you've made it ridiculous, you've made it a farce, you made it a joke. But if it can be damaging, I'm gonna hold you accountable for the words coming out of your mouth, and life will hold you accountable as well, because at some point people are gonna recognize that not only are you a liar, you're a vindictive liar who wants to destroy people because of your jealousy and your envy and your own personal issues. And that's gonna be a journey that you're gonna take, and hopefully you find healing at the end of that journey and you figure out like how to be a better human being and how to show up in spaces in ways where you're not seen as a liability as opposed to an asset. In any case, that was it, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above those events. So check it out. Be part of our game, change your community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.